Okay, so let's continue with preparing your studio. And one of the important things you want to do is determine the entry point into your studio, or how you enter your studio, and also create some windows where you can communicate with the outside world, or people can check if you are actually in your studio and leave you alone. You also want to check your ambient light level. I'll explain more about this in a while, but every room is different in terms of how light enters the room, how light bounces off the room. And I'm not talking about studio lights. This is the ambient light, the light that is everywhere in your room. You also want to check your acoustics to make sure that there is no echo and there's just enough reverb to make you sound good, but not too much of it. Next, you also want to position your desk and your equipment in the best possible spot in your studio, and make sure you take all the steps necessary so that nobody moves your equipment around, and that you can just enter your studio and start recording anytime you want. Okay, so about entrance and windows. Whenever possible, I like to face the entrance. So my door is right here. Well, it's not right in front of me, but it's on my right. Now, the problem with having the entrance behind you is that, well, as you can guess, someone might just decide to open the door and enter your studio, and if you actually have equipment behind you, that can be quite dangerous to you as well. Make sure the entrance is at the front, and next you need a window for communication. The last thing you want to do is for people to knock on the door just to check if you're in your studio or not, because trust me, this happens a lot. It probably happen a lot when you're at home, and if you're trying to do this when your kids are around or your spouse is around, people just want to check on you, if you're recording or not, because just because you're in your studio, they know that you're not necessarily doing work or recording. So if you're free, why not? They want to have a chat, stuff like that. So if you have a window, then people can actually instantly see if you are recording and leave you alone, or if they have a small hand gestures that they want to show you, then simple communication like that, you can just settle it with a small window. Okay, next, control your light sources in the studio, that in the area that you have designated to be your studio. Okay, what I mean by control your light sources is that don't put unnecessary lights. Okay, remove all the lights. In fact, if you're starting, remove as many lights as you can, and then add them in slowly, so that you do not get confused when you don't get the kind of look or the lighting that you want later. Another important thing is that make sure that there's a clear path to your chair or where you sit. I struggle a lot with this in my small studio because there's only that much of space, and as you keep adding lights and other equipment, all these things really take up a lot of space, and you may have to jump over some of your equipment when the space is small. So move things around and figure out what is the best way for you to get a clear path to your chair, so that you don't trip over anything, and so that you can just go in and out of your studio very often. If in order for you to get out of your studio you need to move things around, then you've done it the wrong way, and you need to reorganize things again. So let me show you the entrance to my studio. It's very simple, but like most doors, this door to my studio actually swings inwards or into the room. Now, when I was about to partition off this area in my office, the contractor did ask me, do I want my door to swing inwards or to swing outwards? Now, I thought that was kind of weird, because if you try, your instinct when you open a door is to push the door forward, right? You hardly pull the door towards you. But now that I have my studio, and as I said many times before, it's a really small space, I start to see some of the logic in where your door opens up. So what I should have done is make sure that my door swings outwards, so that very small space over here that you can see, I can actually have more equipment there and not worry about knocking over those stuff when the door opens. So if possible, try to, if you're building a room from scratch, of course, try to make your doors swing outwards. That way you can be sure that you can open your door safely without banging any of the equipment. You'll also have a few feet of additional space to play around with.